we don't need roads.
Guys, good to see you both again. Thank you for taking the time. I appreciate you.
Hey, Jake.
No problem at all. Shout out to Chicago.
Yeah, we love you
Shout
guys.
out
Seriously,
to that
thank
haircut.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really all I
Nice.
got going for me. I'm going to get into the interview and you're going to go, oh, it's really just the hair. It's really all he's got. There was a great line in this movie. It's not about the money. It's about the challenge. And I know that you have been a successful actor for a long time, but do you remember early in your career when you were struggling to make it in the business, the first time you chose a role, not because it was going to pay the bills, but because you were truly fascinated in the challenge that it was going to present to you?
Yeah, I did a beautiful little movie called Dear Frankie, and it's about a little deaf boy in Scotland. He's deaf and mute, and this character called the Stranger who comes in, and just because of the way things have worked out, has to pretend to be his dad. And it was a small movie that not a lot of people saw, but the ones who did, it impacted them dearly, I think. And it was also coming at a time when I was going from like Timeline to Tomb Raider to Reign of Fire. So there was a lot of action and different things, but I also wanted to keep the challenges up. It's also around that time that I took Phantom of the Opera. You know, things that scared me where I would be like, actually, I don't know if I can sing. I mean, I can sing a bit, but I don't know if I can do the Phantom. Or Shakespeare opposite Ralph Fiennes with Brian Cox, Vanessa Redgrave. I had never performed Shakespeare like that. Ensemble maybe, but then to jump into a film head to head with Ralph Fiennes doing a Coriolanus, moments like that. It's how you keep it exciting and original and challenging and remind yourself what we're here for.
God, you have a fucking great filmography, man. You were like just going through all those movies, man. You got a killer filmography.
I mean, it would have to be Ingrid Goes West. Ingrid Goes West was a film I did after Straight Outta Compton, and you know, Straight Outta Compton, it was a huge movie for me. You know, it critically acclaimed, all the bells and whistles. And then after that, I didn't work for a year, and you know, there was whispers of course he can play his dad, so people were shortchanging me with my acting ability, and I took offense to that because I went to film school, bro. Like, I know what I'm talking about, you know? So I did Ingrid Goes West. I had a fellow Trojan and Matt Spicer be the director, and USC, they pump into your head when you see a Trojan out on the field. You're supposed to give him your shield, bro. So, you know, I teamed up with him and Aubrey Plaza, and that film did a lot for me because it showed people that, oh, he's taking it serious. It got me into Sundance. Variety had me in top 10 performances of Sundance. So, like, yeah, Ingrid Goes West was that right there, that's my baby, man.
With all due respect, your performance in Straight Outta Compton was not easy. Like, that was not an easy like that should not be written off as
Well said. Well said.
Thank you.
This is a big question, but it's really cool. As a fan of the first movie, it's really fascinating to see Big Nick sort of get this new perspective just because he's crossing the line and he's changing sides. I'm curious for each of you, what was the moment in your career that gave you a new perspective on what it means to make movies or to be an actor or to just be in this profession?
I've always respected the business. You know, I was a movie set kid. You know, it was either the tour bus or movie sets. You know, so I've always been the kid asking, you know, people on crew, what do you do? And like, I don't have time to talk. Excuse me. Like, you know, I've always been wondering. I've always been just invested in it. But I think the movie that was challenging for me, where I was like, man, I really got to bring it right now, was I did a film called Just Mercy. And it was, you know, it was quick. It was 10 days of filming. But like, I'm only in a cell that movie. I'm used to having other actors I can bounce off of and you know, kind of in a way spar with, you know, and find gold together. But a lot of that was just me, solitary, by myself, having to bring out emotions. And I was playing an actual person, so I had to stay true to them too. And I'm in a film with people like Michael B. and Jamie Foxx and Brie Larson, and I can't just fade away in that. You got to stand out. So that was when I was like, man, I really got to have my blade sharpened right there. So I think that was the film where I was like, yeah, we got to turn it up. We got to. And
it was a true story. So there's like, that added level of responsibility.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're pulling me out of here. Mr. Butler, I'd love to hear your answer.
You know, it's funny when you said you got to you got a hell of a filmography. Because sometimes when I get asked a question like this, I start going through and I'm like, wait, I get mixed up. I'm like, well, when? But I feel like a few years ago, some stuff happened in my life, and well, I'd been working quite a lot. I started working way less, and I feel like I also changed. This sounds weird, but I actually took a bit of the pressure off myself in acting, rather than often kind of your process or the finishing line, you're thinking about maybe a little much. And I started going, I'm just going to go in there and see what happens. More experimentation, more fun, more letting it go. And that probably happened more around Greenland. I started making less movies, but I feel like, and it's also around this first one. And I feel like I'm doing that more and more. And often when I work quicker together, like I just made 5 movies back to back, which I've never done in my life. And part of what's good about that is you just get in it. You don't have too much time to think about it. And there's a level of experimentation and fun, never doing the same thing twice, especially with this man, because he's so naturally talented that the Big Nick Donnie vibe, just going in and having fun, you know, in the sandbox and seeing what happens. And here we have Pantera.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, right.
Guys, I know these can be grueling days. I appreciate you always having really great conversations with me. I know we don't have a lot of time, but you're always very kind to me, and we always have just really cool talks, and I really do appreciate you.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, good.
Hopefully
to
it
see you,
wasn't
man.
just the hair.
You
killed
you
it.
got the eyebrows, you got the eyes, you know, like, yeah.
Y'all have a great day. See you guys.
Let's cut.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.